that seems to have no clear source? Do you find yourself caught in cycles of emotional pain despite trying everything to heal? What if I told you that your anxiety and suffering isn't primarily coming from what happened to you, but from what you came to believe about what happened? I remember sitting across from my wise mentor. She gently asked, what if the emotional trauma you're carrying isn't about the event itself, but about the meaning your 8-year-old self made of it? That question transformed my entire approach to healing and anxiety recovery. Have you ever noticed how two people can experience the same difficult situation, yet one emerges with deep emotional wounds, while the other develops remarkable resilience? The difference isn't in the event, it's in the beliefs they formed about it. Hi, I'm Aggie. I help Christian women heal from unresolved emotional pain so they can experience the fullness of peace and purpose God intends. Today, we're going deeper to understand why you feel what you believe and how those beliefs might be keeping you trapped in a cycle of suffering that Jesus never intended for you. I'll also introduce you to something called your window of tolerance. That explains why sometimes emotions feel completely overwhelming, while other times you feel nothing at all. Your emotions don't actually come directly from your experiences or even from your memories. They come from how you interpret those experiences. This analogy from Ed and Joshua Smith, the authors of Transformational Prayer Ministry, resonated deep with me, and I'd love to share it with you. Think about flipping through an old family photo album with me for a minute. Some photos make you smile, while others might make you cringe with embarrassment. But here's the truth. The photos themselves don't make you feel anything. The album isn't filled with painful pictures or joyful pictures. What's happening is that your mind is interpreting what you see through the lens of what you believe about those memories. Two sisters looking at the same childhood photo might have completely different emotional responses, not because they experienced different events, but because they formed different beliefs about what those events meant. When something happens to us, especially during childhood, our developing brain creates a belief about what this means about me, I'm not enough. What this means about others, people will leave me. What this means about God, God is disappointed in me. What this means about the world is unsafe. These beliefs don't just shape your thoughts, they literally program your nervous system's response to the world around you. This is why two people can look at the same photo or remember the same event and have completely different emotional reactions. Scripture affirms this connection between our beliefs and our emotional experience. Proverbs 23:7 tells us, as a person thinks in their heart, so are they. And Romans 12:2 instructs us to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Jesus himself pointed to this truth when he said in John 8:32, you will know the truth and the truth will set you free. Not just spiritual truth, but truth about ourselves, our worth, and our identity. If your memories aren't actually the source of your pain, but rather what you believe about those memories, what might change if you could update those beliefs? Think about a memory that still brings up difficult emotions for you. Now imagine that memory like a photograph in your album. The event captured in that photo can never change. But what if you could change the caption beneath it? What if you could interpret that same event through the lens of what you know now, rather than what your younger self believed then? Let's take our photo album analogy a step further. When you're flipping through your album of memories, your nervous system is responding to each photo based on what you believe about it. Sometimes when you come across a particularly difficult photo, your nervous system goes into protection mode in one of two ways. Imagine a window. This is your window of tolerance. When you're looking through this window, you feel present, connected, and able to think clearly. You can look at that difficult photo and feel the emotions without being overwhelmed by them. But sometimes you get pushed outside this window in one of two ways. You might slam the album shut and walk away, refusing to look at the photo at all. Therapists call this hypoarousal, when you emotionally shut down or disconnect. You might feel numb, foggy, or completely detached from your feelings. Or you might get completely overwhelmed by the photo with your heart racing and emotions flooding you. This is hyperarousal, when your nervous system goes into overdrive with anxiety, panic, or intense emotional reactions. The amazing thing is that your window can actually expand. The more healing work you do around your beliefs, the wider your window becomes, which means you can stay present and regulated even when looking at the most difficult pages of your life story. Think of your nervous system like a car engine. In hyperarousal, you're redlining, revving too high and at risk of damage. In hypoarousal, you're stalling out, not enough power to move forward. But within your window of tolerance, you're cruising at just the right pace, responsive, efficient, and able to navigate the road ahead. What if your emotional reactions aren't signs of spiritual immaturity, but valuable information about unresolved beliefs that need healing? When you find yourself overreacting instead of thinking, what's wrong with me? Why can't I just get it together? Try asking, what is this emotion trying to tell me? What belief might be getting triggered here? Scripture gives us a beautiful example of this reframing in the Psalms, where David repeatedly brings his raw emotions to God, not as sins to be repressed, but as honest communications to be processed in God's presence. Search me, God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. A regulated nervous system views emotions as messengers, not enemies. Whether you're feeling overwhelmed before a meeting or struggling with racing thoughts at bedtime, I want to share a resource with you that I've used myself. It's a revolutionary app that gives you access to dozens of science-backed exercises, specifically designed to relieve stress in 3 minutes or less. It's like having a personalized mind-body coach that understands exactly what your nervous system needs right when you need it. If you want to give it a try, you can get 20% off through the link in the description, so be sure to check it out. Let's explore specifically how your core beliefs create your emotional experience. Remember that photo album? Let me show you common photos from the album of someone with a never enough wound and how different captions or beliefs completely change the emotional response. Photo 1, making a mistake at work. Limiting belief caption, this proves I'm incompetent and will never succeed. Emotional response, shame and despair. Truth caption, mistakes are how I learn and grow stronger. Photo 2, not accomplishing everything on your to-do list. Limiting belief, caption, I'm falling behind and letting everyone down. Emotional response, stress and self-criticism. Truth caption, my worth isn't measured by my productivity. Photo 3, having a dry season in your prayer life. Limiting belief, caption, God is disappointed in me and withdrawing his presence. Emotional response, spiritual anxiety and performing. Truth caption, seasons change, but God's love remains constant. Take a moment to imagine how differently you might respond to criticism or feedback, approach your spiritual practices, show up in your closest relationships, make decisions about your time and energy, experience God's presence in prayer. When you believe your worth is settled, established at the cross and resurrection, rather than constantly up for review, your entire emotional landscape transforms. Instead of judging your emotional reactions, approach them with the same compassion Christ extends to you. Ask questions like, what am I feeling in my body right now? What belief might be getting activated? When have I felt this way before? What does the youngest part of me need to hear right now? This practice aligns with Jesus' invitation in Matthew 11:28-30. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. What if your memories themselves aren't actually painful at all? What if, like a photo album, there's simply documentation of your journey, and it's your beliefs about those memories that create your suffering? This is profoundly good news, because while we can't change what happened in our past, we can, with God's help, change how we interpret what happened. We can write new captions for old photographs. The Apostle Paul demonstrates this powerful shift in 2 Corinthians 12:9-10 when he writes about his thorn in the flesh. Notice the belief transformation. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. For when I am weak, then I am strong. Paul didn't need the thorn removed to experience peace. He needed a new interpretation, a new belief about what the thorn meant about God's presence and power in his life. If you've recognized yourself in today's video, I want you to know two things. First, the fact that you're aware of these patterns is already a significant step toward healing. Awareness itself begins to expand your window of tolerance. Second, you don't have to walk this journey alone. That's why I've created something special to help you apply these principles in your daily life. They say an average person spends about 4 hours and 37 minutes on their phone each day. So why not transform our phone addiction into our secret weapon against anxiety? All those glances, all those unlocks, all those moments spent staring at your screen. Check out the description below to access it. Thank you for watching. If this video helped unearth something you've been carrying, please hit like and subscribe. And share this with a friend. Remember, healing happens in layers, not all at once. But what happens when life falls apart and those beliefs get tested? The questions we've explored today often lead to the most painful one of all, don't they? What I've found is that our beliefs about ourselves directly impact how we see God, especially when that doubtful voice whispers, is God really good if he's allowing this pain? So how do we reconcile God's goodness with our broken reality? Check out this next video. It builds on everything we've covered today and takes these concepts to an even deeper level. Until next time, see you in the next video.